Islam. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Arabic. La ilahe illallah, Muhammedun Resulullah. Turkish. Allah'tan başka ilah yoktur. Muhammed Allah'ın elçisidir. Kelimeci tevhid. Islam. Symbol, other names, Islam, Muslimness, type, monotheism, classification, Abrahamic religion, sacred text, Quran, Holy Quran, noble, generous, theology, monotheist, belief in God, one God, Allah, Selalu, the one whose majesty is sublime and majestic. Active area, worldwide, sex, Sunnism, Shi'ism, Kharijism, Alevism, holy places, Kaaba, Masjid al-Haram, Mecca, Masjid an-Nabawi, Medina, Masjid al-Aqsa, Jerusalem, Mount Arafat, Mecca, founded, 610 AD, Mecca, Hijaz, Arabia, now Saudi Arabia, Arabistan. Founder, Hertz, Muhammad, 570 to 632, followers, 2 billion, 25.0%, holiday, Holy Day Friday, Holy Times, Ramadan, Laylat al-Qadr, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Miraj Kandili, Barat Kandili, Rajab Kandili, Mawlid Kandili, 3 months, Muharram, place of worship, mosque, masjid, preachers, imam, hafiz, muezzin, center, Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Islam was founded and spread by Muhammad, who is believed to be the messenger of Allah and the last prophet. When Muslims mention his name as a sign of respect and reverence, they use the expression Hertz, Muhammad, Bu, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. His followers are called believers, meaning believers, or Muslims, meaning submitters to Allah. Today, Islam is the most populous religion on earth after Christianity. According to Islamic belief, the verses and surahs that make up the Quran, the holy book of Islam, were revealed to Muhammad verbally through the angel Gabriel, with the first verse being revealed in 610. The basis of Islam is the belief in monotheism, which means believing in Allah as the only God, without equal or peer. It teaches that He is omnipotent, merciful, and does not beget or give birth. In addition to the Quran, which is the main source of Islam, Muhammad's life, behavior, sunnah, and words, hadith, are also of binding importance for most Muslims. Muslims believe that Islam is a complete and universal religion that has been revealed many times before through prophets such as Adam, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Muslims accept the Quran, which is in Arabic, as the final unaltered revelation of Allah. As in other Abrahamic religions, Islam believes that the righteous will be rewarded in paradise and the unjust will be punished in hell. The main acts of worship in Islam include prayer, fasting, and, depending on your financial situation, almsgiving and the Hajj. In addition to spreading the religion of Islam, Muhammad also organized a political and military structure and established the Islamic State in Medina. After Muhammad's death, rulers called caliphs claimed to be the successors of the state and ruled. These caliphs established empires ruled by dynasties. New and different Muslim states emerged as the lands of the Umayyad and Abbasid dynasties were divided over time. In the 8th century, the Islamic faith extended from the Iberian Peninsula in the west to the Indus River in the east. Beginning in the mid-8th century and continuing until the late 13th century, the Golden Age of Islam was a historical period when most of the Muslim world was at its scientific, economic, and cultural peak. Several Muslim-majority regions that were colonized from the 18th to the 20th centuries gained their independence after World War II. After the Crusades in the Middle Ages and the colonial domination of the West, Islam came into conflict with the Christian world both ideologically and politically. Recent tensions have led some fundamentalist Muslims to interpret jihad in a fundamentalist way and to consider it a religious duty to defend their faith through conflict, and as a result, the concept of Islamophobia has spread throughout the world. The main sects of Islam are Sunnism and Shi'ism, which are distinguished by political and theological concepts. However, in Islamic societies, there are many sects on theology and jurisprudence. In addition to traditional sects, there are also various views and approaches called modernist, Quranist, or historicist. Islam, which covers approximately 25%, i.e. 1/4, of the world's population, continues to exist as one of the largest religions. 80 to 90% of Muslims are Sunni, while 10 to 20% are Shia. There are approximately 50 countries with a Muslim-majority population. Some of the countries with a Muslim-majority population adopt religiously based Sharia governments, some apply Sharia in certain areas, some do not base Sharia on it and only accept Islam as the official state religion, and the remaining countries are governed by secular systems that exclude Sharia. The country with the largest Muslim population is Indonesia, where about 13% of Muslims, 231 million, live. It is followed by Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. The country with the largest Muslim minority population in the world in numerical terms is India, 195 million. More than half of Muslims live in Asia in general, with 25% in the Middle East and North Africa. But there are Muslim communities in almost every country in the world. Fundamentals of faith and beliefs. In Sunnism, al-Sunnah. The principles of faith in Sunnism are called amentu, conditions of faith. Classical theological schools consider a person who does not accept one of the conditions of faith as an infidel or an apostate. The principles of faith summarized from the Quran consist of the following: believing in Allah, the angels, the holy books, the prophets, the apocalypse, the resurrection after death and the afterlife, believing in fate and destiny. Allah. The first and fundamental of the principles of faith in Islam is belief in Allah, in His existence, in the fact that He is the only God who deserves to be worshipped as the Creator, and that everything worshipped other than Him is false, that is, Tawhid. According to Islam, the Creator of the universe, along with everything in it, is Allah, who is free from the attributes of being born and giving birth, and who is the only God. His existence is eternal and everlasting. He has power over all things. Muhammad. Muhammad bin Abdullah is the last prophet according to Islam and is believed to have been revealed to him by Allah. The Sharia he set forth as a messenger prophet is considered the last Sharia that Muslims are obliged to follow. He was born in Mecca in 570 or 571, received his first revelation in 610 in the Hira cave, 5 kilometers from Mecca, was subjected to insults and violence by the Meccans, so he migrated to Medina in 622, fought intermittently with the Meccan pagans, conquered Mecca in 630 and died in Medina in 632 after the farewell sermon. In the Islamic faith, it is believed that Muhammad was sent by Allah with the same message with some complementary changes and as a perfect religion because members of other religions distorted the religion brought by previous prophets. Muhammad is described by Muslims as the last prophet or the prophet of the end times. Muhammad is only a messenger and the last of the prophets. Surah Al-Ahzab, 40. Muhammad's words and deeds, hadith and sunnah, are considered a secondary source next to the Quran and are considered one of the two primary sources of Islamic law. Politics. Muslims believe in religious texts that they believe contain verses and words revealed by Allah through His prophets that show the right path, goodness, and salvation. These are the pages, Suf, of Adam, Seth, Idris, and Abraham, and the holy books called the Torah, Psalms, Bible, and Quran of Moses, David, Jesus, and Muhammad. Worship, servitude, worship. While the classical understanding emphasizes the formal elements of Islam, such as worship and dress, esoteric communities that partially or completely reject these elements are also sociologically present groups within Islamic society. Insanism. In Islam, believers are believed to have certain religious obligations related to worshipping Allah. However, these obligations vary from sect to sect. Some acts of worship, such as prayer, fasting, pilgrimage, and sacrifice, were also present in pre-Islamic Arabs and other societies. Islam has preserved many of these acts of worship, reformed some, and abolished others. According to a hadith that guides the Sunni understanding of Islam, there are 5 pillars of Islam and it is obligatory for believers to fulfill them. Those who abandon these obligations commit major sins in Islam and are punished in some cases. For example, according to the 4 schools of jurisprudence of Sunni Islam, Muslims who abandon prayer are punished. It is believed that these obligations begin with puberty or reaching adulthood. The times and amounts of acts of worship such as prayer, fasting, pilgrimage, and alms show some differences in Islamic sections. While a person earns rewards for every act of worship he performs, he commits sins by not performing acts of worship even though they are obligatory. These evaluations can also have practical implications. Accordingly, the religious penalties to be applied in case of abandonment of acts of worship such as prayer, fasting or zakat in Islam and the procedures to be performed on the funerals of such people after the person is killed in penal servitude are also shaped. Namely, when these people are considered apostates, their funeral prayers are not performed, they cannot be buried in a Muslim cemetery, and their inheritance remains in the state treasury. Jurisprudence and Islamic scholars say that Muslims who accept the 5 pillars of Islam but cannot pay zakat or perform the Hajj due to financial means are not sinful. According to the Hanafis, acts that involve negligence or refusal to practice Islam are punished with tazir punishments, which include being beaten until the person bleeds or imprisoned until they die. In addition, when they die, their funeral is treated as a Muslim funeral. The word of Shahida. The first pillar of Islam is to utter the Shahida, which means to bear witness to the existence of only Allah as God and that Muhammad is His messenger. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His servant and messenger. Kalimai Shahida. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications for more of my videos. Thanks.